Hello YouTube, Appius Rollis here. I have a replay for you that was submitted on the Air of Carthage Discord, as per usual. Let's just go ahead and jump right on in. This is submitted by Tricky, playing as Bretonia. At least one of the opponents was Vampire Counts featuring the Red Duke, an all-time favorite of mine. But let's see, we've got, looks like the Fey Enchantress, Paladin, 3 unit of Spearmen at Arms, a Grail Relic, I believe this are the Battle Pilgrims, and the Regiment of Renown version as well. And then the Regiment of Renown Questing Knights and a Grail Knight are my guess. I can never tell one Bretonian Knight from another just from their portrait. And then Lord House over here. 4 zombies. One of them is the Regiment of Renown, just the super large, stupid one. And then 2 units of Skeleton Spearmen, a Crypt Ghoul, 2 Vargwolves, nice, and the Regiment of Renown Graveguard, the Stearnsman. It's actually a pretty decent list. I think he's giving away too many points with the zombies, however. This is a medium funds FFA, so we're going to go ahead and put this into slow motion. Look at that. Tricky doesn't even hesitate, goes straight for the middle of the map. This is, of course, the altar of the Sword of Cain, and there it is in the distance. As I mentioned, here's the only other thing to know about the Red Duke's army is that he is in fact on the zombie dragon. Back to Tricky with Bretonia. Their heroes are indeed mounted on horses. There you go, the Fey Enchantress. And was I right? That was, yep, the Grail Knights and the Questing Knight Regiment of Renown. Okay, then we have Skaven. Here we go. Skaven Slave Spears, an entire line of them. 3 units of Clan Rats with shields. A Plague Monk Censer Bears, good choice. Rat Ogres. Warp Fire Throwers, those are going to be fun to see if they can get the job done. Plague Claw Catapult. A Warlord on the Bonebreaker mount. And a Plague Priest. Interesting choice. You really don't often see the Warlord taken as Skaven much anymore. And oh yes, we have a Norska player. Alright, so we got Norscan Warhounds on each flank. I would have gone with the Norscan Ice Wolves, but hey, to each their own. We've got some Berserkers in the back line, 3 units of Hunters with Javelins, 3 units of Marauders with great weapons, and as a hero choice, we've got the Shaman Sorcerer of Fire and Wolfric the Wanderer on his unarmored horse mount. Very interesting. Okay. It's a little bit too Marauder heavy for my taste. I think without picking some of the real damage dealing potential of some of the monsters, this guy's going to be giving up a lot of points. But it seems that most everybody else is in the same boat, bringing in plenty of chaff. So it might actually be more fair than I was expecting. So here we go. And I've definitely seen, especially in the hands of a player like Reginald Puggington, mobs of Skaven slaves and Clan Rats can do just fine, provided you protect your artillery. So yep, here's Tricky, our Bretonian player, not even hesitating, charging for the high ground here in the center. And I guess he's just figuring he's going to find somebody to fight when he gets here. And that's exactly what this Skaven player is hoping for with his Plague Claw Catapult. And sure enough, Tricky has spotted the Skaven and is going to go ahead and start coming around this way. Already sending around the Grail Knights. Oh man, the Grail Knights are going to have a field day with this army. The Plague Monk Censer Bearers with the support of maybe not the Warp Fire Throwers, but if he could support his Rat Ogres with enough good units, maybe get the Bonebreaker over there, he can do something about those Grail Knights. But otherwise, those Grail Knights are just going to eat rats for lunch. Okay, we're definitely kicking things off over here as our 2 Vargwolves have found the tasty blobs worth of Norska over here. The Red Duke's flying around, just trying to stay just out of the reach of these javelins. Nobody's really committed yet. We have no points on the board. We're a full minute in, and here goes our Shaman Sorcerer of Fire. Okay, first blood goes to nobody. Norska dodges all of that, but this Fire Sorcerer, here we go, Burning Head, right down the center of the Stearnsman. He does move them out of the way, but he is going to take damage all down the line. Doesn't look like that was the upgraded version. These are just zombies. This is going to really hurt them. That was a 1,000-point spell. Just like that. Meanwhile, we do have first blood over here between Bretonnia and Skaven. Skaven already racking up 69 points. Bonebreaker and the Plague Priest going off to the flank, and they're going to be met by the Companions of Quenelle. The Plague Claw Catapult is firing at the cavalry and not the infantry. I figured the infantry would just be easier points. Back over on this flank, here come the two Vargulfs. The zombie and skeleton infantry with the Sternsmen are lining up. The javelins are going to do just fine against Vargulf. It's not a heavily armored target. These guys are anti-large with their ranged ammo, but they're going to change target for the Red Duke. And actually, look at that. They're getting some points out of the Red Duke. I think, though, the Vargulf is still the better target for those javelins. Oh, and then the two lines have met over here. There's too much going on. Look at this. Bonebreaker with this. Oh, the Fan Chancers is getting in some healing magic. And did we get the Grail Knights in? Yes, the Grail Knights, supported the Paladin, are over here. They're already routing off the Rat Ogres and the Skaven Slave Spears. What did I say about supporting them, right? I think the Warp Fire Throwers might be thinking about coming over here to dish some fire out into them, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Get an ability activated, so it's a rally. Just hoping to get the Bonebreaker a little bit more support against these Companions of Quenelle, but they have that one fully in hand, I believe. They're going to go ahead and pull out. I think they could have stuck around. I really do. The Grail Knights are okay. It looks like they're just going to go ahead and try and cycle charge the Skaven player out. And that's for the best. Meanwhile, we've gotten full into it over here between the Red Duke and Wulfric. The two armies hammering away at the points. Norska's earning a lot of points here. They're lucky in that their Marauders are going to do just fine against Skeleton Spearmen and Zombies, but he's really got to focus down these two Vargulfs and this Red Duke as soon as possible. The Sternsmen, interestingly enough, are staying back, so it looks like Lord House's strategy here is, okay, I'm going to give up these points from my chaff and try and gain as much as I can on your Marauders without risking these guys. Oh, look at that. That fire spell right on top of the Tithe is going to just drain them of energy. Norscan Warhounds are retreating, and look at that, they retreat right into the Sternsmen, waiting for them. And they're going to pick up those points because that is not a shattered unit, it's just broken. I believe if a unit is shattered, there are no points available. Vargulf is disintegrating right now, which is unfortunate. Alright, so the Fey Enchantress is now under attack here. She's going to do really well against Skaven in general because of her Mist of the Lady. She is basically... Oh, look at that, Plague Monks. A summoned unit of Plague Monks in the back of this Spearman. This might actually put the Fey Enchantress and the Grail Reliquae at risk, but I'm not that worried about Bretonnia so long as they have, yep, look at this, all of these Grail Knights to deal with all of these Skaven's damage-dealing units. Not much left to it other than that. The Warp Fire Thrower, don't know if it got any kills. And look at that, so we have a... What was that was just activated? Special ability. You know, it had to have been a spell from the Plague Priest, but I can't tell what it was or what it did. It might have missed. Warp Fire Throwers are going after the Paladin. That's not going to work out for you. And look at that, the chain route is starting to affect the Skaven. Their low morale is breaking them on down the line. These Plague Monks will last a little while longer. They'll actually clean these up, even the Battle Pilgrims, but not when there's Grail Knights coming in to hit them in the flank. Look at this charge right here. Bam! Well, at least one or two rats got chucked over the line, and now the Fey Enchantress is going to go ahead and give them a healing. And there goes the Bonebreaker Giant, running away. Meanwhile, back over here, we are fully mixed in. Here comes the Sternsmen as well. They're tired of waiting. We got a breath attack off of the Red Duke, who's taken plenty of damage from all of these javelin throwers. And the Shaman Sorcerer of Fire is trying to come back into this. Is Wulfric still in this fight? It's hard to tell. Yep, Wulfric's still out here. He really wants to be doing something like, he wants to be taking on this Vargulf, or he wants to hope that the Red Duke is going to land, maybe, and try and get to him that way. Fighting infantry really isn't where he needs to be. You want him in those one-on-one tools against large targets, against other heroes. Okay, so the Red Duke has come down into this fight now. And the Norscan player immediately pulled the Warhounds in, not so that they can deal damage to the Red Duke, but so that they can hold him in place. He's going to go ahead and he's going to do an upgraded Invocation into Heck for his whole army here. And that's just going to replenish all of these hit points, even bring back a few units as well. Wulfric is running out of tools with which to use against, oh, and here comes a summon zombies right on top of this unit of Marauder Hunters with Javelins. So there's only one unit of Javelins with even any ammo free in order to do anything. And again, I think the Vargulfs are the better target because the Vargulfs are just running roughshod all over the Norscan infantry. In fact, there's no Norscan infantry left. They've all routed. The Hunters are the only ones that are left. And Dragons already into that one. Zombies into this one to silence them. This one's falling back, but they're out of ammo anyway. Wulfric's morale is dropping slowly but surely. And this is just pretty much a done deal over here. So Lord House is going to win against Weed Nani, even though Weed Nani was able to get so many points against those zombies. Again, that's my only critique of Lord House's strategy so far. Bringing zombies means you're bringing points to the enemy. And Plague Claw Catapult gets off a shot, even though it's beset by Spearmen at Arms, trying to deal any damage he can. Roma Boy, unfortunately, oh, what a shot into the Holy Wardens of La Maisontal. Fantastic, but now that's going to be a silenced unit. The Plague Monks are right out here. Plague Monks are actually doing a really good job against that Paladin, and as they should, I think. Even though they're more of an anti-infantry unit. Oh, but here comes the Grail Knights. Just gotta deal with this summoned unit of Plague Monks, get them out of here, knock them all over the place, bring down some Battle Pilgrims. Fey Enchantress is basically untouched. And that's going to be it for the Skaven player. Just trying to wrap up these last few units, get the points you can out of them, and then focus on your next major target, which is going to be Lord House with the Red Duke. But Tricky is now solidly in the lead, dealing with all of these Skaven slaves and clan rats and summoned units, all of which grant so many points. The Skaven player is going to, as often happens in FFA, the players that are truly and easily out of it, they could still recover their units every once in a while and maybe gain a handful of points here or there. But once their army is gone, your score is pretty much locked in. So, Romo Boy, unfortunately to say, even with your recovering units, you are going to be locked in at last place. And this is going to be, like I said, between Lord House and Tricky. Can Lord House gain any more points off of Norska? I believe they can. There's still some units here that are just broken and not shattered. How's Wulfric? Is he broken? Yeah, he's broken, as is that wizard. But these units here, the Great Axe Infantry, the Marauders with Great Weapons, they are shattered. No chance of points there. No chance of points from the Marauder Javelins either. These Berserkers are coming back. I mean, if you want to throw zombies into them and give them points. Ah, yeah, the Vargulf has found it, and that's the exact unit you want to send at these Berserkers. Let's get a look at this charge. And watch Lord House's points right at this moment. Bam. One swipe. Another swipe. The zombies get in there doing a little bit more damage too. Lord House is doing good to get some points here. So is Weed Nani, but Weed Nani just doesn't have the units left to carry this through. So Lord House, I anticipate, is going to be in second place ahead of Weed Nani after Norska is fully shattered. Oh, Wulfric's coming back. I'm sure he has opinions. He might even have a couple of boats to say about all of this. Look at that. The Red Duke has already finished all of its replenishment. It took a lot more damage than I was anticipating. Red Duke really wants to get a piece of Wulfric, but with both of them in this condition, both of them away from their armies, I don't know. If I'm Wulfric, I think I turn around and stand my ground. Yeah, and he's turning around. I think he's gonna go for this fight. Maybe he was waiting for his abilities to replenish, because I think Wulfric can do some damage here. Yeah, exactly. Look at that. He was waiting for a Hunter of Champions. Minus 48% speed, minus 30 armor, minus 46 melee defense. He's gonna summon in some zombies to help, which is a good idea. Oh, look at the hits Wulfric is landing though, and El Sif activated because the Red Duke is also a bit of a duelist himself. And that's gonna break and potentially shatter Wulfric the Wanderer one last time. The fear from the zombies having an added effect. Can Wulfric the Wanderer get anything else left? Okay, both abilities have played their part. And oh, that's it for Wulfric. And he's down. Good play from Lord House of the Red Duke, and that puts him at 8,198 points, and that's our first dead Lord of the battle. So, very well done. These Crypt Ghouls really got to do something about their morale. It's dropping steadily, and the more it drops, the more hit points they lose. Okay, so the Skaven player is now fully out of this match. Wulfric has these Marauder Hunter Javelins, but yeah, there he goes. He's gone now. Alright, so now it's just a 1v1. Britonia's been over here wisely replenishing its losses, healing what it can, and now here goes Tricky on the charge. This is for the Sword of Cain, after all. You can't just let the Red Duke walk away with it. Now, let's get a good look at what's left of the Vampire Count's army. We have a very diminished unit of Crypt Ghouls, doing just fine on our Skeleton Spearman contingents, our zombies. We have one half-health Vargulf, which can still fit in a little bit more healing, a Sternsman Graveguard that is basically untouched, and another unit of zombies, as well as the Red Duke, who cannot do any more healing, and a unit of zombies back here. I think that's the summoned unit. Oh, no, wait, the summoned unit's over here. They're going to disintegrate probably before battle is joined, and get that Vargulf back here. You're not going to get any points off those Marauder Hunter Javelins. They're shattered, and that's just going to be a waste of time. And you want that Vargulf. You want that Vargulf for dealing with the Battle Pilgrims in particular. So let's go ahead and look at the Bretonian army. I just want to double check real quick. That Vargulf is not earning Lord House any points. Watch. 8290. Still 8290. Vargulf isn't making any attacks. Come on. I want to be able to prove that this does not work. Oh gosh, he just can't get the animation off. How derpy is that? Okay, and the Vargulf gives up on it. As you should. But here you go. So, like, the Marauders with great weapons mixing in with his zombies, we're still at 8290. There are attacks here that can be made. Nothing going. Still at 8290. Now he's wisely pulled off another Invocation of Nehek. Yeah, look at that. Just wading through this one poor Marauder with great weapons.
For the Grail! This was not to be! Run!
Post haste.
Zombie's just letting him through. That's so funny. Alright, so here comes our first charge from the Grail Knights right into the Sternsman. Now he's got to cycle charge this out. If that's going to be fit. Oh, what a breath attack right into the back. That really hurt their morale, and it really cost Tricky some points there. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4 Spearmen at arms with shields, and they're going to go ahead and charge in. I think they should brace. Oh, yep, they held their ground. And here comes the Vargulf. It's now eating a charge. Oh, look at its health just plummet. The Enchantress is now mixed in, and look at those points start racking up for both sides. Here comes the Red Duke down into this, but he's now suddenly looking worse for the wear. He's trying to chase off these Grail Knights. I do not, if I'm the Red Duke here, I do not want to be where the Grail Knights are at all. And the Grail Knights are going to make him pay for that decision. Yep, as they should. They're now swarming him. They're doing everything they can to keep him on the ground. The Red Duke has to do whatever he can to pull over some support units, get in the way of those Grail Knights, and that might do it. The Red Duke might be able to survive this with just 685 hit points. But the superior infantry of Bretonia, I can't believe I just said those words, are going to easily wipe up these skeleton units and these zombies, especially with the help of the Fey Enchantress. Here comes another charge from the Grail Knights. Almost getting the Vargulf out of this battle. Red Duke has still got, he's at less than 600 hit points now. I don't know how he's still alive. Those Grail Knights are going to go ahead and take out the Vargulf. Look at the points he can pick up from that. We're now looking at a 200-point game. This is going to come down to the last man standing for sure. The Enchantress rear charging all these units, bringing down their morale. They're now crumbling. There's still 3.5 minutes left in this fight, folks. Stearnsmen are going to do really well against Spearmen and a Grail Reliquae. Oh, the Paladin, I mean. Paladin is into the Stearnsmen. I think the Stearnsmen have the advantage there, unless maybe the Vayne Enchantress can get over. Look at that. The Grail Knights break. They shattered? They are shattered. Wow. The Red Duke and the Vargulf, with the help of the Crypt Ghouls, just pulling it off. This is going to be a lot closer than I thought. I would not have anticipated the Grail Knights shattering at such a critical moment. The fear effect from... Well, no, but the Grail Knights, they're probably immune to fear. Hold on, I need to pause this real quick. I gotta confirm. The Grail Knights are immune to psychology, so fear and terror has no effect on them. How unfortunate. How unfortunate. Okay, going back to the action here. This unit of Spearmen at Arms is broken. They may come back later. The Paladin realizes he's in over his head. He's got to get out of there. Another Spearman of Arms. He's just trying to bring his units back in as quickly as possible. He really wants to get this Red Duke while it's still on the ground. But I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, but the morale is wavering. He's debilitated. He's now charging the Paladin. Paladin versus Red Duke. With the help of the Vargulf.
Victory is assured.
The Paladin seems pretty confident. He says victory is assured. 100 hit points left if he can do the damage. Oh, but no, just like that, the Paladin is dead. The Vayne Enchantress, however, still at half health. And so long as she's in these infantry blobs, she's going to do just fine. But man, that Lord House is really just trying to end this however he can. And he's being really cavalier about the use of it. Yep, there he goes. The Red Duke is dead, and that is going to end whatever resistance is left from Lord House's faction. But look at the point difference here now. We're now looking at a 1,500 point game. And if they're crumbling, they're not giving points to Bretonnia. In fact, look at this. Bretonnia's not earning any points right now. If I'm Bretonnia, I'm getting away. I'm breaking out of these engagements. I'm watching that point meter. I'm going, I do not want Lord House to get any more points on these Crypt Ghouls. Get off the Crypt Ghouls. And let the crumbling do its job. And hope that your remaining forces left equates to enough points to see this out. Man, really, the Stearnsmen are going to fight for another minute and a half here. Get off of the Stearnsmen, Bretonnia. What are you doing? They're not crumbling. No, they are now. There they go. But that crumbling damage isn't getting Tricky any more points. Nobody here is doing damage to the Stearnsmen. Nobody. The Stearnsmen are hurting themselves, and that's not for a lack of trying. Tricky is really trying to get some damage in, hoping for the extra points, but you're just giving Lord House more points, more kills. More kills at this stage means that you're losing points that you can be gained at the end result. Because I believe now, I used to believe that it was like a flat number that you gained for being the last man standing. Now I believe it's a flat number based on how much of your army is left. So get off the Stearnsmen. Get off of them. Lesson to be learned for sure. Here's another favor of the Fae, going for the additional melee attack. But I don't think that's getting Tricky any more points. Look at that. All of this damage that's being done to the Stearnsmen is what they've done to themselves, and that's it. They finally disintegrated, and that is a valiant defeat. Wow! You have lost, but there is honor in defeat. The enemy is as broken as you. Let's look at the final point tally. Wow! Look at that. That is a difference of, let's see here, 33 points. 33 points of damage. Had they just abandoned the Graveguard there at the end, gotten all of their troops away from it, let the Graveguard try to chase him while they were disintegrating, that could have gotten Tricky the extra points. But as you saw there, Tricky was not earning any points because nobody that was in that blob was actually damaging the Stearnsmen, who made all those extra kills in those last minute, that last minute and a half of the battle. What a twist How fascinating. So what did you think about that? That was very educational for me. Like, I learned a lot about FFA there. If you are the last man standing, the amount of points you get is depending on how many on the percentage remaining of your army. Kills make a difference for sure, but the points are what matters the most. The score is what matters the most. So look at this: 130 kills on the Fey Enchantress, Mist of the Lady. 110 with the Spearman at Arms against the Skaven. That's amazing. 215 on Battle Pilgrims. 157 on the Holy Wardens of La Maisontal. So incredible. 397 kills on the Grail Knights, who really let Tricky down by shattering there at the end with the really gutsy play of Lord House here. 174 kills on the Red Duke, 34 on that Vargulf. This one got 121. Stern's been clutching it out at the end with 181 kills. And the Criticals as well, 99 kills, really contributing. And the Skeleton Spearmen seem to have done a decent enough of a job against Wulfric the Wanderer's army. So let's go ahead and look at his. 151 kills for Wulfric. The Norscan Warhounds did not contribute much to this at all. That's just unfortunate for Norska. 199 Marauder Berserker kills in zombies. 143. You gotta love chaff armies when they face other chaff armies, because then you get to see shit like, oh my god, my Marauders, they just made 500 kills. No, you'll never see 500 kills on Marauders. Here's Roma Boy with Skaven. That Bonebreaker Warlord did nothing. That Plague Priest did nothing. The Skaven Slave Spears did nothing. The Clanrats with Shields did a little bit of work, but not against Bretonnia, not once the Battle Pilgrims got into this fight. I mean, Battle Pilgrims versus Skaven Slaves, that's just disgusting. It's great. 93 kills with the Plague Monk Censor Bears and 59 kills with the Plague Claw Catapult. But the real damage that was actually being done, and it's not reflected here, are the summoned Plague Monks that the Plague Priest was able to bring in. Those Plague Monks were able to do a significant amount of damage to Bretonnia, and that's where the majority of his points came from, that and the Plague Claw Catapult. And the Rat Ogres, unfortunately, getting faced down by the Grail Knights. 397 kills. Hats off to you, Tricky. That was one heck of a battle. Thank you so much for sharing it. Guys, let me know what you thought of that one.